50,000 years ago, the most dangerous thing in the pitch-black night wasn't the saber-toothed cat waiting in the tall grass. It was your own mind, completely rewiring your eyes to see in the dark. Modern science has revealed that when prehistoric humans were tracked by predators in the midnight shadows, their brains didn't just trigger fear. They actually altered their visual cortex, turning the human eye into an ultra-sensitive motion detector that could track a predator's blink from 50 yards away. Your ancestors didn't just survive the dark. They became a part of it. But what did it actually feel like to be the hunted creature whispering in the shadows? Imagine a world entirely untouched by the neon hum of electricity. It is late autumn in the European Valley, 50 millennia before the first cities are even a dream. The air smells intensely of damp earth, crushed pine needles, and the faint copper tang of old blood. You are huddled near the mouth of a limestone cave, wrapped in a heavy, stiff mammoth hide that scratches against your collarbone. The fire is dying. It hums a low, rhythmic hiss as the last oak log crumbles into a heap of glowing, ruby embers. Beyond that fading circle of amber light lies an absolute, crushing blackness that modern humans have never truly experienced. There are no streetlights 3 miles away, no satellites blinking overhead, no ambient glow from a smartphone screen. When the fire goes out, the universe simply vanishes. You are left with nothing but your skin, your ears, and the terrifying realization that you are not alone. Something massive, silent, and incredibly hungry is stepping through the dry brush just beyond the tree line, and it has been watching you for hours. We usually think of our prehistoric ancestors as helpless, shivering victims who spent every single night cowering in fear until the sun came up. We imagine them trapped, weeping, and completely defenseless against the monsters of the Pleistocene. But that survivalist myth is completely wrong. The reality of ancient human psychology is far more spectacular. Our ancestors were not passive prey waiting to be eaten. They were master trackers themselves, which meant they understood exactly how their predators operated. When a Neanderthal or an early Homo sapiens sat in the dark, they didn't experience panic. They experienced an intense, razor-sharp state of flow. They knew that a panicked animal makes noise, loses its footing, and dies quickly. Instead, their bodies entered a state of weaponized calm, a hyper-awareness where the heart rate actually drops slightly while the senses expand to fill the entire valley. How do we know this? Look at the fossil record and the deep architecture of the human nervous system. Anthropologists studying ancient skull fragments have noticed that early humans possessed remarkably large olfactory bulbs and auditory pathways compared to modern city dwellers. Furthermore, evolutionary biologists have long studied the acoustic properties of prehistoric caves. They discovered that our ancestors specifically chose shelters that acted as natural amplifiers. The curves of the rock walls weren't random selections. They were acoustic mirrors designed to catch the lowest frequencies of a predator's footsteps, bouncing the sound directly toward the sleeping area. Archaeology shows us that these people weren't hiding blindly in corners. They were positioning themselves strategically, using the earth itself as an early warning radar system. They could literally hear the weight of a cave hyena shifting its paws on the gravel outside long before the beast could smell them. Think about what that feels like on a personal level. You are sitting completely motionless, holding your breath until your lungs burn. Your ears are straining so hard that you can hear the rush of your own blood pumping through your temples. Suddenly, a dry twig snaps. It is a tiny sound, no louder than a teardrop hitting a stone. But, to your hyper-attuned ears, it sounds like a thunderclap. Your eyes dart toward the sound, but you don't look directly at it. Why? Because you know that your peripheral vision is far better at catching motion in the dark than your central vision. You catch a sudden brief flicker of twin green circles. It is the tapetum lucidum, the reflective layer behind a cave lion's eyes, catching the microscopic remnant of your dying campfire's light. The lion is looking right at you. It takes a slow, heavy breath, and you can actually smell the rot of its last meal drifting into the cave mouth on the cold wind. Instead of screaming, you reach down with total deliberate slowness. Your fingers wrap around the smooth, fire-hardened shaft of a flint-tipped spear. You don't throw it. You simply hold it, letting the cold stone calm your sweating palm. You and the apex predator of the continent are locked in a silent, telepathic duel of pure patience. Who will move first? Who will make the mistake that ends a lineage? This ancient game of life and death didn't disappear when we built walls and invented the light bulb. It is still hardwired into your DNA right now. Have you ever walked down a dark street or into a dim basement and felt a sudden icy shiver crawl up your spine for absolutely no reason? Have you ever felt the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, convincing you that someone is staring at you, even when you are completely alone? That is not an irrational phobia. That is a direct inheritance from the ghosts of 50,000 years ago. That exact sensation is your ancestral survival protocol waking up from its slumber. When you experience that sudden, unexplained rush of goosebumps in the dark, your brain is doing exactly what it did in the Pleistocene. It is pulling blood away from your skin to prevent bleeding if you get bitten, flushing your muscles with instant glucose, and widening your pupils to swallow every stray photon of light. We think we are so advanced because we live in temperature-controlled apartments and buy our food from supermarkets, but our minds are still wandering the prehistoric dark. We are the children of the ones who didn't run, the ones who sat in the blackness, mastered their terror, and stared right back into the eyes of the monster. Next time you lie awake in bed, and the room feels just a little too quiet, listen closely to the shadows. Are you truly safe? Or is your mind simply waiting for the twig to snap? If this changed how you see the ancient world, there's one more thing that'll blow your mind. And it's in the next video.